Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to break down the highly complex medical world of knee replacements. Let's be honest, sitting in a doctor's office while they fire a flurry of medical jargon at you can feel incredibly overwhelming. It's intimidating. So our goal today is actually pretty simple. We want to be your dedicated guide, cutting right through all that noise and empowering you with the exact knowledge you need to confidently advocate for yourself.
Because, have you ever walked out of a doctor's clinic and immediately thought, oh man, I totally knew there was something else I wanted to ask? We have all been there. Going into a consultation unprepared basically puts the doctor entirely in the driver's seat, and it leaves you as a passive recipient of whatever they suggest. Well, this explainer is designed to stop that from happening. We're putting you back in control, and we're going to turn you into a fully active, thoroughly prepared patient.
All right, so grab a pen because we are building your literal checklist for your consultation today. Here is our agenda. We'll quickly cover why your knee actually hurts, why it's resurfacing and not replacing, choosing the right hardware, the 18-month recovery reality, and finally, the exact questions for your surgeon.
Let's dive right into part 1, why your knee hurts and understanding the foundation of arthritis.
To know what to ask your surgeon, we first have to understand what is physically going wrong inside your joint, and that starts with articular cartilage. In a healthy knee, the ends of your thigh bone and shin bone are covered in this incredibly smooth substance. My grandpa actually used to call it gristle. Essentially, it provides this perfect clear space for your bones to move smoothly with minimal friction. That pristine, uncrowded space is absolutely essential for a pain-free life, because it acts as the ultimate shock absorber every single time your foot hits the ground.
But here's where the problem kicks in. When that space disappears. Look at a normal knee, and you see that nice, clear, dark space allowing for a smooth glide. But in an arthritic knee, that smooth cartilage is worn away, and you get bare bone grinding aggressively against bare bone. It is literally like a chef's mortar and pestle grinding up hard spices. You can practically imagine the sensation, right? That sharp, catching pain when you stand up, or that deep ache after just a short walk. And as this grinds away over the years, the joint slowly starts to collapse on itself, kind of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This collapse drastically changes your leg's alignment, sometimes causing visible bow-leggedness and triggers some really severe, debilitating pain.
Which brings us to part 2, resurfacing, not replacing. Let's demystify this procedure.
There is this massive myth out there that surgeons basically chop out your entire knee almost like they're amputating the joint itself. Not true. Listen to this incredible quote from the medical field. Just like when the rubber on a car tire wears out, we are literally just putting some more rubber tread back on your worn-out knee joint. I mean, what a relief to hear that as a patient, right? Your major ligaments, your powerful muscles, your tendons, they are all entirely preserved. The surgeon is really only shaving away a few tiny millimeters of the diseased arthritic bone surface. So at the end of the day, your knee is still fundamentally your knee. Let's actually walk through the steps of the surgery so you know exactly what goes down while you're asleep. First, the surgeon removes that diseased bone and damaged cartilage. Second, they place a perfectly matched, highly polished metal cap on the end of the femur. And third, they position a super smooth plastic glider right on top of the shin bone. Knowing this is so empowering. You aren't getting some clunky bionic leg, you're just getting a new, flawlessly smooth surface. By putting these pieces together, metal glides effortlessly on medical-grade plastic. It functions exactly like the Teflon in a brand new nonstick frying pan, which completely eliminates that agonizing bone-on-bone grinding.
Moving on to part 3, choosing the right hardware. Tech versus track record.
So how does knowing all this physiology help you make decisions? Well, when you start hearing about all the different surgical technologies on the market, there is one massive number you need to pay attention to. Over 1 million. The Australian National Joint Replacement Registry, actually, scratch the long name, it's just a government-funded independent research program, and it's one of the best in the world. They have tracked over 1 million joint replacements over the last 20 years. Why does a government registry matter to us? Because that data isn't biased by medical sales reps trying to push their latest products. And this pure, unfiltered data conclusively proves that long-term success relies heavily on the specific brand of prosthesis used. And this leads to some fantastic advice for when you are sitting in that clinic. Look, surgeons absolutely love to talk about their shiny new tools, and it's super easy to get distracted by impressive robotics, but your job in that chair is to pivot the conversation. The quote here says it perfectly. Rather than asking your surgeon what whiz-bang technology they use, ask them what brand of prosthesis they use. Your surgeon's experience with a top-performing, highly reliable brand over a long period of time matters way more to the lifespan of your new knee than whether or not they use the absolute newest surgical gadget.
That being said, alignment still matters immensely. You definitely want to avoid buying jeans off the rack when it comes to your knees. Think about how uncomfortable a poorly fitted pair of pants is. Now imagine that unnatural feeling and lingering pain inside your leg with every single step. Yikes. Instead, look for surgeons who utilize 3D patient-specific technology. Using an MRI and specialized X-rays, they build a 3D model of your unique anatomy before they even make an incision. This ensures the prosthesis matches every single nook and cranny, fitting your specific bone structure exactly like a custom-tailored glove.
All right, part 4, the 18-month recovery reality. Let's set some realistic expectations. Let's get real for a second. You are not going to jump out of bed completely cured the very next day. As your guide, I want to walk you through a real-world timeline here. You'll likely leave the hospital between days 3 and 5. By 4 weeks, you might finally be driving again and doing some light office work. At 3 months, you're roughly 50% recovered. By 6 months, you're looking at 80%. And it takes a full 18 months for maximum function to completely return. This recovery is an absolute marathon, guys. It requires daily, dedicated rehab starting on day 1. And here is the harsh reality. You must take your regular pain medication early on so you can push through those rehab exercises. If you skip the meds just to act tough and you don't move around, your knee can quickly lock up with scar tissue and become permanently stiff. It'll feel almost like somebody poured concrete inside your joint.
Now, I also need to warn you about what normal healing looks like, just so you don't panic. Around week 3 or 4, your knee is going to be quite swollen. You'll literally feel heat radiating from the joint. You might even hear some mild clunking sounds from the hard artificial implants tapping together, and experience some temporary numbness right around the surgical scar. When this happens, you will probably think something has gone terribly wrong. But I promise you that is just your body working overtime, sending extra blood and nutrients to heal the area. On the flip side, serious complications like deep infections or blood clots, while they sound incredibly terrifying, remain extremely rare. So please, don't let a warm, swollen knee send you into a panic spiral. That is entirely normal for up to 6 full months.
But when you do push through that recovery, the payoff is huge. Here's the post-surgery activity guide waiting for you at the finish line. Think about all these incredible activities you can safely get back to doing. You can walk for miles, swim in the ocean, hike your favorite trails, ride a bike, and easily play 18 holes of golf completely pain-free. You will absolutely regain an amazing, active quality of life. But as a patient, you also have to respect the strict boundaries of your new joint. Pay very close attention to the don'ts. High-impact running or kneeling directly on the new knee? Leave those in the past. Kneeling directly on it puts immense localized pressure on that medical-grade plastic glider we talked about earlier, and you really want to protect the longevity of that implant at all costs. Which brings us to the final section, part 5, questions for your surgeon, your consultation toolkit.
So why does everything we just covered over the last few minutes even matter? Because it gives you the exact vocabulary and the confidence to ask the right questions. A lot of people feel rude or out of line questioning a highly educated doctor's choices. Don't. It is your body. So question 1 you absolutely must ask. What brand of prosthesis do you use, and is it a top performer on the registry? Asking this ensures you are getting a highly reliable implant with a proven, completely unbiased track record. Remember, a good knee replacement should last you 15 to 20 years, so the specific brand truly matters.
Question 2. How long have you used this specific prosthesis? This beautifully pinpoints whether your surgeon has the deep, consistent experience required for the best possible outcome. Because let's face it, every single surgeon has a learning curve when they switch to new tools or different implant brands, and you absolutely do not want to be the patient they're practicing on at the bottom of that learning curve. You want someone who is highly familiar with their tools. Question 3. Do you use 3D modeling to match my unique anatomy? You want to know if they're going to take the time to map your exact alignment prior to surgery, so the hardware isn't just some generic, off-the-rack fit, but fits you precisely like a glove. If they say no and tell you they just eyeball the alignment in the operating room based on their past experience, well, that is a crucial data point for you to consider when you're deciding if this is the right surgeon for you. Question 4. What is the specific pain management plan so I can mobilize immediately? Having this specific conversation before surgery drastically reduces your anxiety on the actual day of the operation.
Because day one rehab is so critical, knowing exactly what your safety net is for breakthrough pain ensures you can confidently participate in your physical therapy, and that means you won't suffer from that permanent, concrete-like stiffness we talked about earlier.
Now, there is an overarching golden rule in orthopedics that you should always keep in the back of your mind. There is absolutely no rush to replace your knee just because an X-ray shows arthritis. Seriously, many people have terrible-looking arthritis on an X-ray but experience very mild day-to-day symptoms. You only need to proceed to surgery when conservative management completely fails. That means you have thoroughly tried natural joint supplements, simple pain relief, anti-inflammatories, or dedicated physical therapy to strengthen the muscles around the joint, and they are simply no longer keeping your symptoms manageable.
Ultimately, you should confidently take this toolkit of questions directly to your doctor to ensure you get the absolute best care possible. But before you even book that appointment, before you pick up the phone, sit down and lead the initial consultation phase by asking yourself this one final, deeply personal question. Is your knee pain bad enough to change your life today? Because at the end of the day, the right time for a knee replacement is a decision only you can make. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and here's to empowering yourself on your health journey.